Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and today I want to talk to you about some tips on how you can start to play your solo RPG and really be the owner of your adventure. Okay, so I have some tips that I learned throughout my years playing solo, and that helped me a lot to get a little bit of the overwhelm out of the process because you're playing alone, so you kind of have to manage a lot of things at a time, and those tips really helped me, so I am hoping they will help you as well. Okay, and the thing is, solo RPGs, they are an incredible way to dive deep into storytelling, into your creativity, to have a RPG adventure that you can play by yourself. Either if you don't have a group right now, or you just want to explore something that people around you don't really want to, they are not interested in that. So you can play solo and have your own adventure on that topic, on those things that you really want to do. But there's a catch on solo RPG, is that it may lead to some frustration, it may be overwhelming, it may cause some boredom if you don't know how to manage things well, because you're constantly just doing whatever comes up in your mind and not following the rules, or you're following the rules too much and you're not doing the things that you want to do. So either side can be true here. And these tips, I think they will help you fix exactly those little things that may be annoying about solo RPG, or maybe preventing you from actually having fun playing a solo RPG. Okay, so let's go for tip number one. And tip number one is to start small and start simple. And when I say start small, what I mean is not necessarily what I did, that is like my pocket games, but they do help. When I say start small, I mean that for it to be fun and not feel like a full-time job, instead of trying to craft the most epic world with tons of rules and just like get the most perfect adventure right off the bat, just pick something that is easy to jump into. It can be a pocket game like the ones I have here to show you as example, or it can be just an easier system to play, like For Against Darkness, that is very light. There are like a bunch of pages here, but it's a light system if you compare with other RPGs that are out there. This is also pocket for me because I printed it in a small size, but you can get the like bigger version. This is just a me thing. So For Against Darkness is very simple, or you can go for one of the pocket games that I have a full video on this box on all of the games that I have played, that I want to play, that are in my collection, that you can check it out to see if you are interested in any of them. Okay, so go check it out. Pocket games are amazing. The two that I particularly recommend for beginners, because they are not only pocket, but they are simple and they are like just pick up and go, not a lot of prep necessary. They are here. I already separated them to be easy to show them to you. First one is Pocket Delver, and the second one is Dungeon Hero. And I have other videos here on the channel going a little bit deeper on those, so I'm not going to do that here, but these are my suggestions. Go check the other videos, go check these games. I'm going to leave in the description the link for the blog post that goes with this video, and on that blog post all the links are going to be there and you can access those pages. Okay, so these are the two pocket ones that are super simple, and you can also put for Against Darkness on the list as a simple game to start your solo adventures without too much prep, without too much overwhelming. I think those are going to be great for you. And then you can prepare yourself for more complex adventures, or even to prepare systems that are not meant to be solo, but you can play them solo if you have some experience with other games. Right, let's go into tip number 2. And tip number 2 is start in the middle and jump right into the action. So instead of getting a game in which you have to go over all the background for the character and all their like aspirations and fears and everything, you can just create something, like create a character right on, give it a short background, like it's a maybe a mercenary looking for some gold and he was hired, or maybe it's someone trying to avenge his family that was murdered or something like that. Just give it like a short background description and jump right into the action. And that action may be just playing out a scene using an oracle, and you can check my options of oracles. They have a link in the description as well, so you can, go and get those oracles to make decisions and keep the story flowing. Or it can be making up a dungeon and dive into it. For that, for Against Darkness is a good one. You can create dungeons here. They have they are all about dungeon diving. So they have like tools for that in the book. But they also have like a kind of extensive starting on creating character. It's easy, but maybe you think it's a little too much. You can also check one of my games and just go through the create a character section here, and then jump straight into either a dungeon or a general world map and play it. Don't worry about anything else, just go and play it and keep playing as you go. I designed this game and the other one that I have here as well, the Witch Manor. I designed these games to be a as you go kind of thing. So you don't need to prep too much besides creating the character. So you create a character and you can create it even days before you even play the game. So you just have a character created, or you can generate one randomly online and just adapt to the stats in here. And when you have your character, you just go through each rule, each page as you play it. You don't need to prepare a lot before getting into the game. So those types of games are great. And again, we go back to the pockets. There are a lot of pocket games that go through the same principle of just creating a quick character, and then you can play based on the pocket rules that are very simple and very easy to go through. Actually, for Dungeon Hero, the character creation is so short and so fast. It's amazing. So you just create your character and you have a bunch of adventures that you can play. A lot of adventures. Even one that I created myself. And all of the links, again, go to the description, the blog post, or just the other links that are in my video description. You can go there. So this is the idea. You start directly into the action. Even diving into a dungeon or right into getting facing an enemy and going to a fight, and that's it. You already have the peak of energy in the game. So let's go to tip number 3, which is when you hit a wall, don't be afraid to cheat. So if you get stuck, you find something, you roll in the oracle something, and it gives you something so random that your brain freezes and you don't know what to do. Or let's say your character is about to die, or something really terrible is going to happen, but you don't want the adventure to stop. You don't want it to end there. You can cheat and have something miraculous happen, and you can save your character or do something that so that they don't die there, and you can keep the adventure going. Don't be afraid to cheat. You're playing alone. You're playing with yourself. It's okay for you to tailor the adventure to be whatever you want. Okay? So you can do it. One thing I would like add to this tip though is that don't just cheat for the sake of cheating so that everything goes smoothly how you want it, because that can lead to boredom, that can lead to annoyance towards the game, because you don't have a challenge anymore, you don't have anything to look forward to, because you're just manipulating everything, you know. So what I do is, if I try not to, but if I have to cheat and like miraculously save my character from, let's say, a horde of kobolds that are attacking her all at once, which has happened before to me, and she's just one. I like to play solo, which with only one character, so that may lead to some disastrous situations, just so you know. So what I do there is I save her. I absolutely make her leave so we can keep playing, but I give it a hard and a strong consequence to it. So it may be that she drops all her loot and loses like an important item, or loses all her gold, or gets some type of recurring consequence. It can be a nightmare that cripples her or him, depending on what your character is, some type of PTSD or something like that that you can incorporate into the game, that is going to make the character's life a little bit hard and they have to deal with that. I do those types of consequences to justify the cheating, to justify the miraculous saving or something like that. And just to be clear, this is just a thing that I do when I am stuck, when I'm really stuck. I usually try to roll on the oracles to get some insight and play out as the words in the oracle bring some ideas to me, because that doesn't feel like cheating because they are random tables. But if I am stuck or something terrible is about to happen and I know it, I can try to cheat, and I do this counterbalancing with the consequence so that it doesn't feel like too easy or too manipulated, you know? And then we go into tip number 4. And this is particularly good for people that come from other board games, that is to forget the things that you know. So if you love board games, you know there are rules, and a lot of those, and very specific rules so that the game works. In here, you can kind of forget about the rules, because RPGs, in my opinion, we play differently. It's something more flexible, it's something that flows, it's something that you can just get a random oracle, roll on a random oracle, and just let things flow. So instead of getting bored because you're trying to follow a lot of rules, you can be flexible. You can twist things, you can improvise, and this is very important. Try to improvise. If something doesn't feel right, you're going through like the rules here, and it says like that a certain role does a certain thing, and you're like, oh, but I don't think that's fun. I don't think that's good for me right now, for my character. I don't want to do this. Don't do it. You know, that's mainly the reason why I started creating my games, because there were some mechanics that I loved and some that I didn't love as much. So I started collecting them. I put some of them here. I adapted some of them because I wanted them to work in a different way. So that's a role that I followed so much that I even created my own games with them. So yeah, be more flexible, be more flowy. Forget the things that you know. Just let the game lead you where you want to go. Tip number 5 is for people that come from other more traditional role-playing games, is that you can bring into your game the things that you love. So if you played another tabletop RPG with friends in other groups, and you know that there is like a thrill of some character arcs, some epic battles, some wild stories that just uh, like surface through the game, you don't have to leave those behind just because you're playing solo. You can take those parts that you love about those games and bring to your solo games. So I can give you some examples. For me, I particularly love narrative and I like dramatic plot twists. If you go to one of my videos in which I tell the story of my solo D&D game with Lila, this is Lila, I give a little bit of a summary of her adventure, and I think I mentioned that she, on her first adventure, in her first dungeon, she finds out that the person that she was trying to rescue from like a kidnapping was actually plotting all of these kidnapping story as a way of like making people believe that she was a victim, but she was actually one of the um, she was not a victim. Basically, she was involved in some uh, like dark under dark stories, some not legal things, and it was all a plot. So she was hired to rescue someone that didn't need to be rescued, and in the end they became like friends and contacts, because my character is not like really hero like. She's more like a she is an adventurer. She's paid to do things and she does those things, not necessarily worrying about doing the good and right things. She's just doing things, having adventures. So there was in the moment it was a big plot twist for her to be like, oh, so I'm not saving you. You're just like keeping some things under the hood, and that was some type of plan. Okay, fun, nice. That was really great. So those plot twists are really good. I like to bring them in, and when I roll something that kind of tells me like, oh, this could be a big plot twist, I put it in. I just put it in. Another thing that I like is romance, and I try to include it if I can. Sometimes I can't, but sometimes there's a little bit of a breach and I can. And I did show some of my binders. This is my D&D binder. I have another one that I also showed on videos. You can look for them. And I don't have it here right now. Let me get the other one. Okay, got it. This is the complete one. And I showed on that video a module that was, I think it's here somewhere. Nope, I think it's here. Yeah, this is it. A module for dating in D&D. I have that, and I have it here as a reference because if I have the chance, I'm going to include that in a game. So bring the things that you like from other RPGs that you might have played in groups into your solo session. This is really, it makes it fun because you're bringing things that already brought you joy, so they probably will work for that too. And the last tip is, don't stress about downtime. So if your characters finished a battle and they are just like resting or going through the city and like going to shop for something, or just have a drink and a conversation with a bartender or something like that, and you don't like those, this is the part of the RPGs that you don't find fun, skip it. Just be like, yeah, they went to a tavern, they drank, and they slept, and it's another day, and we are moving on with the adventure. That's totally fine. You don't have to role play every single thing if you don't want to. You know, let downtime be just a snap of fingers and go back to the adventure. If it's boring to you, you don't have to do it. Okay, so these were my 6 tips, and I think right now you should grab your dice, you should grab an adventure, an oracle, something, and go play a solo RPG, and maybe apply some of those tips to have some fun. If you have more tips on how to play a solo RPG that really works for you, that really makes things fun, engaging, that takes the boredom, that takes out the annoying rules, you can leave it down in the description. Don't forget to like this video, because that helps me a lot. And I see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.